good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are watching this international show on today. I'm Dr. LaNée Vet, and welcome to Fly Nubian Money, where we help you to master your mindset and maximize your shmonies. Today, we're talking about business, reputation, and how quickly things can spiral in the age of social media. A Detroit hairstylist is making headlines after allegedly threatening a client over a $10 dispute, according to reports. Allegedly. The stylist allegedly threatened the client with an assault rifle, saying that she would kill her over the money. What started as a small payment disagreement quickly turned into a situation that could potentially damage a business and reputation overnight. For entrepreneurs, especially service providers, moments like this raise an important question. How do you protect your business, set clear pricing boundaries, and handle conflict professionally when money is involved? Because sometimes it's not the amount of money that causes the biggest damage, it's the reaction. So let's talk about that on today. I have some of the best queens in the world to join me. I have Aisha, financial expert, Miss Black Hollywood, doer of all things, executive producer extraordinaire. I have Nomalanga coming and going. She is marriage, motherhood, and money making. And we may or may not see her a little bit later, but for right now, this is who we have. And we have you in the chat. Welcome, family. Welcome, family. Thank you for being here with us every day, all of the times. We love you and appreciate you. That said, who's pulling out a rifle on a client for $10? Anybody? No?
100? Absolutely nobody.
Like what's the dollar amount? What dollar amount would cause you to pull out a rifle?
There is no dollar amount to make me
get aggressive. Let's just say handle conflict. Like, you ain't paying me my money. It's about to be some problem. I'm about to move some chairs. Nothing. Okay. No. So if a client, we don't have all the full story, so we're gonna watch the video in a second. But let me just get a quick round robin. If a client or someone owed you money and they were refusing to pay, how would you handle it? And a quick answer so we can get to the video. So quickly, if somebody owed you money, Aisha, a customer, a client, right? How would you try to resolve it?
I'll try to resolve it by at least reaching out and telling them how important it is that I get my money back and what it means, because, they got a service or product and I paid for it and I would like to get my money back. Really, I'll just keep reminding them. That's what I want to do. Just keep telling them over and over again until hopefully they'll get tired of me and just pay.
Okay. So it's not your money back. It's you. It's they owe you money.
They owe me.
Okay. Yeah, yes. It's okay.
Okay. So something else. I'm just reminding them until they give it back to me.
Tiara, if somebody owed you money, how would you get it back?
I'm just putting the invoice on automation. It's just gonna keep coming to them. I'm not even getting on the phone and asking for it back. I'm just gonna put that on automation and go about my life. Like, fill the invoices, fill it.
Okay. Nomalanga, how would you go about somebody owes you some money?
Actually, funny enough, tomorrow I have to attend to something like this, and my first step is to ask my personal assistant to reach out and see if the person wants to do a different payment plan, maybe like one that's stretched out a little bit more. Then the second step is going to be a letter of demand from a legal team member, and then the third is court.
Okay.
But these are bigger amounts. It's not $10.
Yeah, how much is it? How much is it? How much are you talking about?
So for $10,
for $15,000.
For $15,000.
Yeah, we send 15,000.
Oh,
yeah, it's a lot of money. So you don't just
$10. I'm letting $10 go. I'm probably letting anything under $100 go. I'm not stressing over it. I have a client right now who owes me $500, and she's owed me $500 for a year. I have followed up with her multiple times. And then finally, she said to me, Dr. LaNée, you've only talked to me or followed up with me about this payment. You have not reached out to me for anything else other than the money. So I said, you know what? You're right. How are you? How are you doing? This and other, blah, 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 blah. So when do you think you'll have my money?
Right.
And she still hasn't given me a date, and we're coming up on 2 years. At this point, I'm about to write it off and just say, you know what? I wish you well. I hope you do well. This and the other. I think it gets to a place where you go around in circles with somebody for enough time, and then after a while, you release it. I was talking to my tax girl the other day. She was like, "Girl, I wrote off $20,000 last year in invoices of people who didn't pay because she had been carrying them for year to year to year. So it inflates the money that you look like you're supposed to have." And she finally like just wrote it off. And she was like, "No, I need myself to look balanced." So I think you go after for as long as you can, or until you get to a place. And these, so like Norma was saying, one client, 15,000, I get it. But these are like multiple clients, maybe 1,500 here, 1,000 there, 2,100 there, like small. So you're not really spending a lawyer to go after 7 different people. If it was one person, maybe. But I think as a business owner, you get to a place where it's like, you know what, my peace of mind is worth more. My business is worth more. The energy and time that it's taking me to try to get this money from you and possibly tainting my name in the streets. You're only reaching out to me for money. Well, you're not even my client no more. You're not my client no more, and you owe me money. I don't know what you want me to do. Because I do follow up with my clients. Like I followed with clients from 2-3 years ago. Like, hey, girl, I seen. If we go together, we go together. I still hit my clients in text message and or social media. Like, I saw your post today. I saw this today. Hey, I would have did this differently. And these are clients from like 3 years ago. They don't pay me money. But I think that it matters how you leave somebody. Let's look at this video and see what's going on here. And then we'll come back and keep
saw an ad for a discount at this hairdresser's house. So she decided to take advantage of that discount. She booked an appointment for her and her daughter to get their hair done. When the services were over, the hairdresser said she was charging her more money. It wasn't what the discount price was advertised as. Robin Phillips said she ended up paying the higher price anyway. And then she says this happened. Take a look.
She had the scissors in her hand. She already had scissors in her hand. She says, if you're not going to pay me, then I'm going to cut your daughter's hair. She just kept waving the scissors around like this. And I was just like, just basically trying to calm her down, like, please do not do that. So she runs upstairs and she grabs an AR. So I didn't know that's what she was going up there to grab. So she went upstairs to grab the AR. She's like, you're not leaving out of here until you run me my money. So I did just that, and she's still going on and on about it. I want more money. So I'm just like, here, just take it. I gave her basically everything that I had.
Big gun, out my house, and it say, I'll shoot you. Don't do that. Come on, bro.
I'm just distraught right now because she did all of this for what, when we could have just simply just handled it, like adults. I mean, she said, I will shoot you, I will bury you over $10. She was saying that, yeah, she said, I will bury you over $10. So we pushed past her. We had to get out of there.
In that situation, I'm giving you the $10 and I'm pushing on. Like, here's your $10, let's move. I'm not losing my life over $10. Now, let's talk about it from the customer, then let's talk about it from the business person. Now, as a customer, I can't understand if she went to her house or if the client went to the braider's house or if the braider went to the client's house. It sounded like
the client went to the braider's house. Yeah.
I'm real particular about going to people's houses to get my hair done. I am what do they call it? A person of habit, like a creature of habit. I've been going to get my hair done at the same lady's house who is way too far and costs way too much just because I'm used to her. I've been looking for a new braider and I'm just eerie, right? I'll be inconvenienced myself. That's why I'm telling people about prices. I will inconvenience myself to drive 45 minutes out of my way and pay more for convenience. So as the client, Aisha, we'll start with you. You find yourself at somebody's house getting your hair done, because maybe I don't know if you get braids or not, but let's say you find yourself in someone's home getting your hair done, and they're holding you up at gunpoint for $10. We're going to use the exact same scenario. What do?
I would just pay up. If I have the money, I would just give her money and be out of there as quickly as possible. If somebody can go to that extent, because of $10, knowing what the value of $10 is. If I have it, I will just give her, walk away, and be done with it. I'm not even going to look back. I'm out of here.
Okay. Miss Noma, what would you do?
Yeah, I mean, I think at this stage in my life, I really value peace. So I would just, give the $10
Okay.
and get out of there.
Tiara?
Yeah, I'm giving her the money, but it didn't even seem like that was when she was yelling and screaming. It didn't even seem like it was about the money. It just seemed like she was so elevated and taken out of herself or for whatever, like very mentally unstable. So I think the whole thing would be to get out of the house. Like the lady said, I had to push through and just get out of there because even after she gave her the money, she was still yelling and screaming and cussing about burying her over money and all of that. Like I would just, my whole thing, I would feel like, first of all, she's holding me hostage because why are you going upstairs to get a gun? Like just that whole thing, like her running upstairs, it's time for me to go. Like what is happening here, right? So I just think it just felt like it wasn't about that for real.
Yeah, it was
What's
way
going
over.
C. White, Cheryl said high level robbery. Maybe the stylist was robbed before because the kid. I mean, so now we'll switch to the stylist perspective. So to have a lot of times as the customer, we're going into someone's home, right? Once every 3 months or however often you get your hair done. But as a stylist, you're letting somebody into your home every single day. You don't know this person, especially if somebody's referred to you. So you probably have to stay vigilant at all times, which is probably why she had a gun. If she was robbed before, or people have played in her face before, maybe, she had to be resilient. And so maybe she jumps off a little bit too quick, too soon, too fast. Which could cause that type of reaction, right? I've been a licensed stylist. I do hair. I got my license. I'm a licensed cosmetologist. But I worked in a salon. I never let people come to my house. But I did go to some of my clients' house. I would go into their homes and do their hair. And it is, if it's your first time going into somebody's space to do their hair, it is a little bit unsettling. You don't know this person. You don't know if they're going to rob you. You don't know if they're going to hurt you. You're in somebody else's domain. I can't even imagine what it would be like to have somebody come into your house. So let's switch to the customer, to the client, to the hairstylist. If you allowed someone into your home to provide a service, hair, business, storytelling, making money, I make it applicable to what everyone does, right? Insurance, whatever the case might be. And you allow someone to come into your home and you expect that they're going to pay you what they're supposed to pay you. And it's short, right? And you can, and let's go $50 short, right? You've done the service, you've provided the service. Now they're saying, Aisha, I'm not going to pay you for this. Okay. What do you do in your own home to resolve this problem? Do you let them leave? Do you not let them leave? What do you do? They're in your home.
Yeah. You know what? I think depending on who the person is, I probably let them leave and tell them and have a game plan. But if they say they're not going to pay me at all, I'll just say, well, you know what? Okay. Because in my own head, the way I am, I'm not going to fight over that. I'll just say, you know what? Next time you won't be my client. In my mind, you probably won't be my client any longer. But if you actually deliberately don't want to pay me, I'll just say, well, okay, well, thanks for being here. I will, see you next time. In my mind, well, there's not going to be another next time.
Because the thing about braiding is nobody collects the money up front. So the service is done. 5 hours, 6 hours, 7, whatever it is, the service is done, right? So Nomalanga, you've provided this service. You've stood, you've braided, you wait, whatever it is. Maybe for you, you've saved them money. You wrote them a money plan, and you've documented everything. You showed them the P's and the Q's. Like, it's done. You did what you're supposed to do. Pay me my money. No, I ain't gonna pay you your money. What do you do, Elma?
I think, again, it depends on the amount of money. I personally wouldn't have people in our home, no matter what service it is, unless it's like something major. And I generally am very cautious. I don't allow people generally, especially men in our home, when either my husband or a male relative is around, just for safety reasons. And I think sometimes that actually helps with people's behavior and how they respond and treat you when they see a male there with you. But again, if it's just $50, then it's okay. See you next time, knowing that there is no next time. And for a lot of services, I like to do deposit, and the deposit usually at the very least covers my costs. So if you're gonna lose, at least you recovered your costs, you know. So you're just kind of broken even.
Okay. What about you, Tiara?
Yeah, I probably.
Somebody comes into your house, you write half day book. I mean, I know you wouldn't write half of somebody's book. So
yeah, I would never do
just say
that.
storytelling, because you wouldn't go that far without getting the payment. But something that you would do, you know, you get them a certain point, and they say, okay, this is how much the service costs.
We'll just say it's a consultation. So if it's a consultation and I've given you a consultation, and at the end you're like, I'm not gonna pay you, God bless you. Like, listen, I'm so blessed in a sense of like just universally, right? Like that money is gonna come back to me. So I don't have to sit and like fight with nobody over no money. I'll just say that. Yeah, like I'm not gonna fight anybody over no money. I don't care what the dollar amount is, especially like we were talking about whether it's you know, yeah, I'm gonna just say whether like it's gonna come back. So it's all good. Whether it's $50, $500, I want to say $5,000. I'm not gonna fight nobody over no money. I'm just going to just because it's gonna come back to me. So it's all good.
I love that. In the chat, let me know what is there a dollar amount that you would fight for? Is there a dollar amount you wouldn't fight for? What would you do in this situation? And tell me, as the client and as the service provider, would you what kind of conflict resolution would you provide or offer if you were either participant? For my panel, what is the biggest mistake service providers make when handling payment disputes, right? So, you know, buying a physical product, you pay for it and then it's sent to you. So a lot of times you get paid first. And unfortunately, as service providers, a lot of times you do the service first and then you get paid, depending on what it is, whether you go to your psychologist or your doctor, or you go to the gym. Like I guess it kind of depends, because for what I do, you got to pay me first, right? You pay at the first of the month, or you pay beginning of your service. I don't really have anything that I do where, some things like websites and stuff like that, but it's still a deposit. You got to put something down, good faith, to show that this is what you're going to do. And then before we hand it over to you, you give us our second payment. We are both agreeing that the service is good. And then I hand you whatever the product is that you paid for. But so Aisha, what do you think is one of the biggest mistakes that service providers make when handling payment disputes?
I think it depends on the kind of business that you're running, and also the amount that you're getting back, right? So it just depends. But I believe that if you have high ticketed items, perhaps have payment first and then balance at completion of service or delivery, right? But if you don't have that, then you might run into where maybe you provide the service or product and the person doesn't, pay you, and you have to deal with the after effect of it. So the best thing to me is just clarify in the payment plan. Half is required before we start, and then 30% maybe when we are almost done, maybe 75%, and then the balance at the end, so that then you're paying us because we've finished the work or we've delivered on our promise. And at the end of the day, though, it's about good faith. It's somebody that you don't know how people are, how their minds are, if they're going to really pay you or not. But I think a payment plan is the great idea based on how much you're collecting, and pay as you go. And then at the end, collect your entire money. Otherwise, it's hard, really, because people will do whatever they want at the end of the day if you don't have things in place like this.
We can't hear you.
Sorry about that. I want to get everybody else's take on that question, but we'll go to the next video, and then I want to ask you guys all kind of, what do you think? I'll switch it up a little bit. Like, what do you think someone can do? No, I want to stay with the mistakes, because I think that that's more helpful, because I think more people are making mistakes with regards to how they're collecting their money as service providers. But let's watch this next video, and then we'll finish that line of questioning.
Okay. As this loads, I feel like that
agreements,
hair
but it's just a matter of just being diplomatic about it, not losing your calm, and just being respectful and understanding that, there's always a bigger vision. So even if you have disagreements, this is about communication, conflict resolution. So, there's definitely things that, everybody doesn't always see eye to eye on, but, conflict resolution is something that is extremely important, and just figuring out how to come on a middle ground where it can have some level of understanding, that's extremely important, because it's like, if you're trying to have an argument, nobody's going to win. Even the person wins actually ends up losing, because the other person just has resentment and is embarrassed. So it's never good in business to try to be a dictator. You got to be a diplomat. So, we just try to just talk things out, take a diplomatic approach, keep a level head. And, usually it's a middle ground. You might not get everything that you want, but, you have some level of compromise.
Okay, I like that. I think that works. Nomalanga, what do you think? What is one of the biggest mistakes that you think service providers make when handling payment disputes? Because it's a natural part of business. Somebody's not going to pay you.
I think it has to do. Yeah. The mistake that I realized, and this was when I was doing more like public speaking in terms of traveling to go speak or whatever. And I also learned it on the other end where I was negotiating speaking fees and dates and what have you for somebody else. And that's the key thing, is don't do it for yourself. If you can, just outsource that part so that you're not really involved. And again, when it's very small money, you're the only person, which a lot of us start off our businesses as, a solopreneur, you're the only person there or whatever, but you really can get somebody to do that part for you. I don't negotiate my fees and prices and things at all directly. I have somebody do that for me. I don't collect payments directly. I have somebody else do that for me. And it removes all that emotion and drama and what have you. And if you actually have somebody who collects for you, for some reason, people respect a system as opposed to directly with a person where they can kind of go back and forth with you like it's too much or it wasn't this or that. If they have a system and they feel like, okay, she provides the service, but this person collects the money, and maybe sometimes collect it before you even go in, and they say, well, I'm sorry, if you're not paying, then you're not seeing her or you're not getting whatever it is. So the mistake that, and I think it's because of, as business owners, especially when it's a small business, you assume that you can't afford. But I do a lot of outsourcing, like I said, and it's usually with independent contractors. And sometimes it's a one-time fee for like, okay, we got something big going. Can you do the payments or can you do the negotiations or whatever it is? And then you negotiate a price for them to give you that service, and they're not necessarily on your payroll all the time. And I find that that's something that I had to learn along the way doing business.
I think you're right. A lot of times I think people definitely are counting the money in your own pocket, right? They see you and they're like, oh, you're not worried about it. It's not going to stress you out to miss this $10 or $50 or $100. I don't care if I got $1 million in the bank. I want the $7 that you owe me. However, you don't got it. I'm not going to stress myself out. Don't count my money and assume that just because I got it, that I don't want what you owe me. My talent, my skill set, my brilliance, the things that I do, how I show up, that costs. And I like to be philanthropist. So if you don't pay me, then I can't go and bless somebody else. I mean, I can, but I don't think people think about it that way a lot of times, right? Tier, what do you think? What do you think is one of the biggest mistakes that service providers make when handling payment disputes?
Yeah, I just think, I think we've been saying it, like not having a system, but what Nomalanga said in the beginning of when I first started my business, I would have like a fake assistant, I would have a fake assistant, right? Like I would have a different email set up, and it was coming from Rachel. Her name was Rachel, as a matter of fact. So it wasn't even like an ethnic name or anything like that. I said, oh, just reach out to Rachel and she'll get you squared away. And then on that other side, Rachel would handle all the things and it would be separate. And I think it just puts people in a frame of mind. But I would just say like, just keeping the distance between you and your clients. Like your clients are not your homies, right? Some of them might be, but even there has to be like even a process when you're dealing with people. But don't be too familiar with your clients to the point where they feel like they're your friends, because you might not see your money just based off like, oh, that's the homegirl, she cool. I'm not that cool. We're not that cool because I'm still working for you, right? So I just think just the way there's a way to still be personable and endearing and feel like close and create I don't want to say intimacy, but create a relationship with your client without blurring the lines of friendship, and that this is really still a business.
That's good. You brought up the relationship of money and friendship, which I think is good. Sometimes when we're talking about money, and first of all, to have a friend that wants to do business with you is good, right? A lot of times we don't see that because people don't want their friends in their business. But when you do have friends that are like, hey, I see what you're doing out here in the world and I want to work with you, and they pay you, that's a beautiful thing. I have been blessed. Let me say it that way. Most of my friends who work with me, they pay me, and they usually will be like, hey, I'll pay you your rate. And I'm like, no, I have a friends and family rate. Like I appreciate that my friends pay me, my family pays me. So I have a friends and family rate. I don't charge them the same thing that I charge somebody else, but I do charge them because I feel like when you have skin in the game and you have teeth in the game, you appreciate what you're getting from me, and you're taking me away from somebody else who I could be making money from. But I love you. And so I'm going to give you a break, and I don't use just discounts anymore. I say, I'm gonna give you promotional rate. I hate the word discount. So should we have these types of strict payment policies, right? Should business owners have stricter payment policies? And I'm not just talking about for friends and family, but just in general, a deposit, a no-show fee, a return payment fee, you made me get out of bed for nothing and sit down, put my face on, and you didn't show up fee. Should there be, I'm not going to make up, say what it should be. What I will ask is, should small business owners have stricter payment policies? Aisha, we'll start with you.
We should have that, because then it clears what the expectations are. And then you also know what to expect from the person that's giving you providing the service for you. So we'll say maybe there's a no-show fee if you don't call 24 hours before to cancel, or if you don't, or I'll give you, like example you made, I'll give you a special rate because you're coming earlier, or you're giving me whatever it is, this exchange where it's fair for the person that is been providing the service and the one that is receiving the service. So that way everybody's happy at the end. I think, yes, clear boundaries, and I won't say they're strict, it's just more providing healthy boundaries of what you're providing, the service you're providing, and the person you're also serving. And also the person providing the service should be there on time, because sometimes it's the other way around, where the person giving the service feels that they're too important, then they don't show up, and then you're waiting for them, and you're thinking, okay, I came. And so I think that healthy respect for each other and the boundaries and should be clear from the beginning, so there's no surprises.
Okay, so I'm gonna switch it up a little bit for you, Noma. Oh, dang, I forgot what I was about to say. Should small business owners have strict payment policies? But I was going to ask it to you in a different way, and I can't think of what it was. Oh, I know what it was. So I think that some of the reasons why people get nervous when we start talking about payment policies is you want this business, right? So let's say it's a customer or a client of yours who normally does what they're supposed to do, right? And so if they miss one or they don't show one time, you probably give them a pass. But this is somebody who's doing business with you on a regular basis, and so they do no show. I think people get scared to be like, it's going to cost you, because they don't want the customer to leave. They don't want the client to go someplace else. And so someone may have these stricter payment policies, but they might not respect them because they're afraid of losing customers, clients, or business. What would you say or do in that situation?
My answer is kind of like the same as how I answered the last question. You kind of have to remove yourself from these things. If it's my assistant telling you that.
All right, is she frozen for you guys?
Yeah, she's frozen for us.
You do know we have
a. Okay. Oh, but she was still talking. Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
I will go ahead. Okay. Well, I'll answer the question.
Well,
I think when I first got started, I was afraid. So maybe I'll put it on me. When I first got started, and I don't know.
Here we go.
Okay,
you were frozen, Nomalanga.
You took me into the backstage.
I did because you were frozen, and so and
Can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Yep. We can hear you now.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Sorry, but my Wi-Fi is kind of spotty, but I've changed Wi-Fi. I was saying that it's very important to always remove yourself from that whole negotiation payment, because again, it just gets tricky. Your emotions are in there and all of that. And it's just so much more professional when somebody else handles all of that and you just get to be, let's say it's, I like to go with speaking engagements. You just get to show up and speak, right? You don't have to worry about all the other stuff, right? And the same is with anything. Like if you're a coach or whatever, you have somebody who kind of goes through the process with your clients and you just show up to coach or show up to do what you do best, actually. And it removes all that icky stuff of, is it a discount? And you can tell your friends and family, like, there's a discount, but again, talk to my assistant, even if the assistant is Rachel, just stay as far away from those things, those uncomfortable things as possible. Because again, I had to learn this the hard way. Sometimes people just are really familiar with you and they're like, come on, you know that this, whatever. Sometimes people who grew up with you can't believe that you can command $1,000 speaking fee and like, well, I know you, I was your neighbor, and so you just have to remove all of those things and just have the privilege of showing up and do what you do best.
I always say that I know we have this terminology that your family and your friends don't support you, right? And people are like, man, your family and friends are the last people to support you, and they don't do business with you. And to Noma's point, I always say that it's not that your family and friends don't support you, it's that they're too close to you, right? They know everything about you. They know what your baby daddy doing, what your baby mama doing. They know what your grades in high school. They know how many jobs you had, if you quit, if you got fired. They know this your third thing. They know you left college. They just know too much about you, so that when you start a business or you start a thing or you start braiding or whatever it is that you do, they think it might be a hustle. And so they're just kind of like, this is just another thing, until they see other people start supporting you, until they see you start making money. And then they'd be like, what's that thing you do? What's that little business you have? And then they will support you. But then can I get a discount? Can I get a hookup? So when somebody sees your gift and your brilliance and they support you and they're willing to pay for it full price, that's a beautiful thing, because then they too can see that brilliance in you and what you do. Tiara, do you want to add anything to the stricter payment policies?
I did have a thought. Stricter payment policies, absolutely. But there was something else I was gonna say. It'll come back to me. It'll come back to me. I was just listening. You guys are y'all cooking today, but there was something else I wanted to add, but y'all were talking, so it's all good.
Okay, so I'll ask this: when should a business owner walk away from a client? Right?
When should a business owner walk away?
When should a business owner walk away from a client? I fire clients, and I do that for both of ours benefit. I will let a client go if I don't feel like I'm serving them well. I will let a client go if I feel like it's not a good fit. I will let a client go if I feel like they are not getting the money that they paid worth. Like if I'm coaching and I'm coaching and they're not seeing results, or they're not being active, or they're not doing what they're supposed to do, I will say, I don't think that this is a good fit. I am a results junkie. I like to see you win. I want you to win. Like, you have to win. That's what makes me excited to do what I do. And if you're not winning, then I'm taking your money for no reason, right? And I think that sometimes entrepreneurs, business owners, people who have business feel like, I need your money, so I have to keep you coming. You can treat me anyway. You can pay my invoice late, whatever the case might be, because I need the money, without really realizing that sometimes you have to let a customer or a client go so that you can make room for somebody else who can come in and want to pay you, right? You don't have to be fussing over $10, pulling guns out on people, because you can create your business in a way where you can attract the right kind of customers and clients to pay you. So when do you think a business owner should walk away from a client, Aisha?
That happened to me where I had a client that I spent a lot of time going through all the concepts of whatever we're trying to do for him. And he will take my concept, go back and do other things, and then come back again. So I just thought it was a complete waste of my time. I said, look, I've been doing this for over 10 years. I didn't start doing this yesterday. So if you think you have a better idea, I told him, I say, you know what? I think you might have a better idea working with them, because I spent a lot of time explaining this concept from start to finish. You go back and come back, and we're talking about not a lot of money. It's not like you're talking about $500,000 or $1 million. So please, I said, maybe you should just spend time with them and let them take care of you. Literally, I had to let him go. And even though I felt so sad because I wanted to really help him, but he felt he knew more than me. And I said, well, you know what, my dear, be my guest, do what you need to do. And I let him go. So, yeah, you gotta let him go. You can let him work you all up, because you're asking yourself, are you serious? Over and over again, I said, no. I respectfully explained to him, and I said, no, thank you, but I think you probably be best if you work with them. And that was it.
You know what I noticed, and I just want to add something to that, is my higher ticket, the more the client pays for the service, the less
Faster.
they stress you out.
Yeah, they just get
Right.
it
So
done.
it's only when you like, I hate to say it, but it's like if it's $500 or less, they're asking for all the bells and whistles. It's
All
like,
of
but
it.
you didn't say you was, and can I please have this and that and
Yeah.
all of this? And it's like, man, listen, go about your business. Like, I don't want nobody to drive me crazy.
No.
But that's what I noticed. Like with my higher paying clients, like I just get to breathe. We work. It's effective, and that's that. So a lot of times I shoot for those clients because it's harder to I think the lesser they pay, the more they expect.
And you know what's funny, if I can add to that real quick, that made me sad, because in our community, a lot of time they don't have that much money, and you're really trying to serve that community, right? And then they just drag you to the mud, and you're just like, you know what? No, just like what you just said, the clients that actually have a bigger account, fast, quick, doable, but they just drag your time, and then before you know it, you're like, I've been on the phone for over 2 hours, and trying to help you, and
I'm tired.
yeah,
I'm tired.
They
This is
say that
tiring.
I always say when I'm, but anyways, they say that when you're struggling with your clients, or you feel like you have difficult clients, take your price up, because what we know is the higher the price point, or the higher the product or service is, the clientele changes. And it's sad that that's the case, because the folks who really need the service are the folks who can't afford it. But when they get into the program or the product, then it's an issue, or they can't do it, or whatever the case might be. So it does suck that that's the case. Let's go to our next video, and then we'll keep this conversation going.
So as I wait for this to come up, I would just say the answer to that is create things that still allow for you to bless people and that are part of the ministry. So to me, Fly Nubian Money is part of that. Anybody can come watch it for free. You can get filled up. You can get personality. You can get all the things. But that's that. Or you can come to Fly Nubian Money Club or whatever. Like sometimes you can come when we have things, like we offer things for free all the time to service people and help people. So I just wanted to say that, because you just have to find different tiers or different ways to service the people that you really want to. And then, and then you let your clients not drive you crazy. Your real, you let the clients not drive you crazy. Okay, so let's go here, because sometimes they say this all comes back to like Black business, right? This young lady went into a house. It's loading, y'all. This lady went into a house. The actual provider of the service was.
Oh, your mic went out. Your mic went out, T.
Professional. This is a conversation
I
that
thought it was
see
just my bad
online
Wi-Fi.
all the time, and here's what I actually believe. What we often generalize as a cultural issue is actually a systems issue, and it's fixable. Here's the thing. When any small business doesn't have systems, of course, things are going to slip through the cracks. Clients don't get the same experience every time. Appointments are running late or rebooked last minute. Communication falls through the cracks. But when things like this happen at a Black-owned business, people don't say, oh, they just need better systems. They label it as unprofessional. And that's the problem. Number one, it's harmful to generalize an entire culture based on your experience. And what we often generalize as a cultural issue is a systems issue that can be fixed. Here's what systems problems can look like. There's no process for how clients are welcomed or greeted, so the experience feels inconsistent. There's no time management system, so schedules get overbooked and things run late. There's no standard communication protocol, so follow-ups can feel random or even forgotten. These aren't cultural flaws. These are infrastructure gaps, and they happen to businesses everywhere. And when we call it a culture issue, we're making it about who we are and not how we operate. And to me, that's not only unfair, but it's limiting. It doesn't give us an opportunity to fix it. Here's the truth. Many entrepreneurs and small business owners are running businesses in their head. They're talented and hardworking, but they don't have the infrastructure to support consistency. And without consistency and systems, even the best service can feel chaotic. And that's why I launched Succinct. Instead of saying Black businesses are unprofessional, I believe that Black businesses need and deserve the same.
I concur. I actually say that. I say it a different way, but I concur. I think that what happens specifically, I'm only talking about Black businesses, is that we get so caught up in getting the business off the ground that all of our energy and efforts go into starting a business. And a lot of times you might be the first person who's starting a business in your family. So you have no business acumen, maybe you don't know business people. So you're doing the best that you can to get the business started. And a lot of times when we're doing that, we're cutting corners. And I often give this example. If you go into a restaurant, because a lot of our businesses are restaurants, and we go in and we feel like we got bad customer service, or it was slow, or we didn't get what we wanted. And a lot of times what happens is the person behind the register might be that person's niece or nephew who doesn't want to be there. They're probably working for cash under the table. And so they're just doing what they can do to get along. They might not even have no experience, right? And so the business is getting a bad rep because the person's just starting out. They don't have a lot of money. They can't pay all the people because they got to pay the person to cook. They're doing all the things. And so the restaurant will get, they don't know what they're doing. It's slow. The food's not great. Blah, blah, the customer service sucks. And what the person doesn't realize, because maybe they might not have any business acumen, or they might not know a business person, is that if you take $15, $17 and pay someone maybe 18 or over who needs money for college, or a mother that's over 30 who's a single mom and needs that job so that she can pay her bills, that person at $17, $18 is going to come and do a bang up job. They're going to make sure that your business is successful because they want to stay. They want to be on the team. That's going to make the customer service better. So it's going to cost you something, but the experience that you're going to give your customers as a business is going to far outpace and supersede that investment. If it's done right, your revenue should see an uptick, which will bring you the money to pay that person. The person's going to show up on time, so you don't have to worry about trying to cover. Like, I don't think a lot of times we think about the importance of the systems, of the process, and what it does for somebody on the other side. Because to what she's saying, if you think about it, a lot of what we hear about our businesses is customer service related. The bulk is customer service. And if it's not customer service, it's going to be price. But we know price is not necessarily something that we can do anything about, because that's dictated on orders and bulk. But let's talk about customer service. Aisha, I'll start with you. Based on what she was talking about from a systems perspective, what do you think businesses can do, Black-owned businesses specifically, can do to help strengthen and better their systems around customer service?
The great news is there's so many things out there now that we can tap into with AI. They give different ideas we can use to run our business smoothly, to create systems that fit specifically our business type. So I think that would be one way for them to, do. And then another one is just training the staff. If you have staff, you have to deal with staff, having, great training them on what your expectations when somebody walks in, and how soon should they be greeted and seated and attended to. These are the things that I did when I was in retail many years ago as a manager. Training staff is you've been trained that when a person walks in the door, they should be greeted immediately, and somebody should approach them immediately. So those systems, with the trainers, with all the systems to keep things consistent, so no matter who comes at whatever time, they receive that same treatment over and over again. But if you have a small business, AI can help you set things up where if it's maybe paperwork or receiving, sending out, it will automate it for you so that you can know what to do, so that way things don't fall in the cracks, like she said, and people feel, oh, I didn't get the service I needed, or nobody greeted me, and they were overbooked. Again, the AI can help us now, and then also train and retrain your staff so they can, help your business grow. The right people there will really make your business shine, and the wrong people will run it to the ground. That's for sure.
I concur. I
Mhm.
concur. What about you, Noma? What do you think? I saw you shaking your head.
Yeah, a big one is, like Aisha said, is training, because training creates consistency. I worked mostly when I was in the hospitality field, I worked mainly for Hilton hotels, and they had like this big manual where they tell you exactly what to do, so you don't have to guess. Like in your example where you said if you get somebody who really has a skin in the game or really wants the job, if they're not properly trained, they're still going to screw it up because they're not going to do the right things because they don't know what the right thing is. So the training piece is actually very important. I mean, I remember at Hilton, you had to specifically say, I think it was, thank you for calling Hilton, blah, blah, blah. My name is so-and-so. How may I help you? There's no variation. That's exactly how everybody answers globally the phone. And then when you finish, no matter what they say, everything is my pleasure. If they say, can I have water? It's my pleasure to give you the water. Can you check this for me? Everything was my pleasure. But the point I'm making is that there's so much consistency that can only come from training. And it doesn't matter how much somebody wants to do the right thing if they don't know what the right thing is because they haven't been trained. You're already going somewhere else. Then the other thing with our systems is you have to build a system where you pay based on access. Tiara kind of touched on this and says, well, you can watch this show for free. Yeah. So it's free because you're not really getting access to me one-on-one. I'm already here, and whether you come or not, I'm going to be here, right? Then if you want to get into my group coaching, that's another level. You're going to get access to me, but not by yourself. That costs more than whatever. There's even a level below that where I have pre-recorded courses at the Black Business School. You can ask me questions, but you don't get direct access to me. You can email me, you can inbox me, but you're not getting me right there and holding up my time. So your access is a very key component in every system that you build, and you have to price accordingly. The day that you get me and it's one-on-one, it's just me and you. I haven't even done that for a long time because I think I've put the price point so high that nobody actually asked me. And the truth is, I really don't want that because it's too time consuming. If somebody wants 2 hours of my time and then they start asking for it every day, I wouldn't be able to do all the other things that I need to do. So I put the price point so high that it's almost impossible to get me just one-on-one. And that's how you kind of create systems. Because I think we're talking about how a person can pay you $500 and keep you on the phone for 2 hours. That's not going to happen. First of all, there's somebody who answers the phones and who kind of fleshes out everything. You could keep her on the phone for 2 hours because she makes $15 an hour or $5 an hour or whatever. But the main person who they're trying to see or they're trying to get access to, you don't get that access until you've paid and you have some skin in the game. And we understand that this access costs a lot of money, so don't waste it.
I love that. I love that. We're going to go to another video and then we will keep our conversation going.
Someone who is behaving aggressively. Well, you don't. At least not at first. One of the things we had to recognize as hostage negotiators was when to try to resolve conflict versus when to de-escalate conflict. And one of the biggest mistakes I see people make is watching them try to wrestle with bears. It's an acronym that represents people who are belligerent, emotional, angry, aggressive, and revenge-seeking. Look, here's the truth. You can't resolve anything with someone who is being aggressive. When their emotions are high and their tensions are peaking, your priority isn't conflict resolution, it's conflict de-escalation and personal safety. At best, you can try to create space for things to calm down. I like to think about it like a storm. Like if the winds and the rain are raging outside, that's not the right time to start building a house. In the same way, trying to resolve conflict with an aggressive person is like stepping into a storm that could tear down any progress that you actually are trying to make. So what should you do instead? Well, like I said, focus on de-escalation and calming the storm. Remain calm, speak slowly, listen deeply. Don't mirror their aggression. Take control of your emotions so you don't get dragged into their negative energy. And you give that aggressive person space, time, and an opportunity to say their piece and calm down. And this works because when other people feel heard, their defenses are more likely to come down. Not guaranteed, but more likely. So once their storm settles, then you can come out and attempt to resolve conflict with them again.
He had a calming voice. He was very calm and considerate. I have a question for you. Let's do stats though before I get to the question. Over 50% of small, let me see, over 50% of small businesses say online reviews significantly impact their revenue and reputation. I read that backwards, but nearly 90% of consumers read reviews before deciding to use a business. Do you guys read reviews on the panel?
I don't. My husband does, but I don't.
Okay, yeah, I read reviews. All right. A single viral incident can cause a business to lose thousands of potential customers within days. Yep. Service-based businesses rely heavily on trust, referrals, and reputation to grow. Absolutely.
Mhm.
I ran my business on referrals for years. Now I'm trying to get back in front of my business because you can't, I mean, you shouldn't run your business on only referrals. But so could this situation have been resolved with better communication? Tiara is not here, but she basically said the owner of the company was aggressive. She robbed her client, basically, the hairstylist. She shook her down when she got there and then went and got a gun. So oftentimes as the business owner, it's our job to de-escalate, but she was the actual aggressor in this situation. So in this in particular situation, I don't know if that could have worked because she was the one who's being aggressive, holding her client hostage. But as business owners and entrepreneurs, could the situation have been resolved with better communication? Aisha, what do you think?
Based on the video, the lady that actually was got her hair braided seemed to be calm. She wasn't aggressive. You can tell that she wasn't outrageous from the way she was talking. So I was surprised that the lady that provided the service was so angry at her. And yeah, for me, based on what she was experiencing, she did her best. She just said, you know what, it's okay. We're gonna go here. That's what I would do, to try to calm the person down and say, you know what, we're going to leave. This is what we have for you, because you know that somebody that upset could do something that they will regret. So the key is just to be calm, like, and she was. I mean, I thought she was calm. She just, let's calm down, let's take things easy and try to resolve it. But the key is to calm the person that is more upset, calm them down, and hopefully they'll be able to reason through their own emotions and allow you to live quietly or resolve the issue together. So that'll be the best way. Just calm them down if possible, or speak calmly like she was speaking calmly. So that'll be the best way.
I think so too. I think that in that instance, I mean, I think that most times it's the client. I mean, it's the customer that has the issue. Like it's very rare that you see it this side. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that most all things can be handled by way of communication and people staying calm. I think that once it gets to an elevated place like this, at this point, everything is raging. It's fight or flight. But I think that the client, did a good job in getting out. Noma, do you think we are seeing where a lot of videos are going viral based on negative or bad or extreme cases of business, shall we say, neglect, right? Somebody's doing something wrong in the business. And with social media now, you know, the wrong viral video can take you down. We could look at tenderism, the tenderism thing that just happened not long ago. Can social media destroy a business overnight? Like, does this girl get to go back and do, well, she probably arrested, I don't know, but if somebody does something crazy and it goes viral on social media, does this business get to come back? Or are we living in a place right now where social media can literally destroy your business overnight?
Yeah, so I think for the first 10 years that I was in business, like 90%, maybe 80% of my revenue was online business, right? And then one of the things that you quickly realize, which is unfortunate, is our people have a lot of mental illness, which is what I deduced from that whole incident. It was not about $10. There was something, you know, crazy going on, unfortunately, for that young lady who went and got a gun. She was obviously dealing with something else, and then she projected it on the client. That's how it looked to me. Can your business be ruined? It looked like she would. I mean, seeing her do that, I would never go go and patronize her business. So yeah, I think her business would be almost over if I saw something like that, and if other people saw something like that. On the reverse end, it also depends what the problem is and how you respond to it. A lot of times people like accountability. If you take responsibility for what happened and you're honest and open about it and you talk about corrective measures, I think in another episode I talked about where I had a family member who felt very ill. I had a full cohort of, I think, 15 ladies, just wasn't attending to them. But I got very honest and I told them that I'm going through a really trying time right now. I just can't give you, the time and attention and what have you. I was completely honest. I told them exactly who the family member was, exactly what the illness was, exactly everything. And I think I shared that time as well. Everybody was like, you know what? We're about 60, 70% through the program, and we've gotten enough out of this program that we don't want refunds. You don't have to refunds, because I was trying to refund everybody. And they were like, you know what? It's been great so far. We would love to finish. And then we kind of agreed that, okay, we'll cycle back after a while and see if we can do the rest of the program. But most of them were very understanding. And that's because I didn't let it get too far where I wasn't showing up, I was being sloppy. I just got honest very quickly. So again, it does, some people do respect taking responsibility and accountability and being honest and then taking corrective measures. The problem that we often run into is that sometimes when people do business, they're not running their money right. And then when it comes to refunding people, they don't have the money to refund people because they've spent it. So now a person's disgruntled, you're supposed to give them their money back, you don't have it, and it turns into a whole thing, and then they tell people you took their money, and it just turns really bad. So it still goes back to that whole thing of systems, like, okay, fine, if you're going to be running anything, your money needs to be run right. No matter how tempting it is, you always have to have that little corner of, in case somebody wants their money back, I have to have the money to give them back. So yeah, and again, all of us ladies have been in business for a while, so you learn these things over time. And I think some of us didn't really know these things when we first started out. But it's good to hear everybody's opinion based on having good, solid business background.
Yeah, I think social media can go either way. I've seen it tear folks down. I've seen it try to cancel somebody, and their community and audience was like, nah, not on our watch. But I think that reviews are good, and I think you should read them, and then just understand how reviews work. Everybody doesn't leave good reviews, so sometimes you can have more bad reviews than good reviews. And then read the reviews. Is this something that the person could have fixed or solved, or is this somebody just disgruntled because they didn't get something their way? Because a lot of times reviews can be that too. But then the mental health part angle, I just feel like sometimes you don't know that. Like, right, if you haven't actually done business with this person before, you won't necessarily know that they're crazy or a narcissist or will pull a gun out on you. So just do your due diligence, especially with like braiders and stuff like that. I'm not usually scrolling online looking for a braider. Most of my braiders or people I'm using, I was referred to them. Somebody is using them. If you're going into somebody's home, I'm not going into somebody's home who I've never met before and I don't know anybody who knows them. I have to get referred. So I can be like, okay, somebody referred me. I know somebody that's gone into your house. I'm gonna do our Women's History Month fact, and then I'll come around and do our final thoughts. This is Women's History Month, and today's Women's History Month fact is Ursula Burns. She made history in 2009 when she became the first Black woman to lead a Fortune 500 company as CEO of Xerox. I remember that. Burns started at Xerox as a summer intern in 1980 and worked her way up through the company before becoming CEO, proving that leadership and opportunity can grow from anywhere. Oh, I love that. I love her too. Her story is amazing. All right. So as we close out our conversation today, I will ask each of you our final thought question. Please let people know where they can find you as well. Our question for final thought today is, what one lesson, just one, can other entrepreneurs learn from this situation? Aisha, will begin with you.
Systems are important to me. That's what I would say. And, have it in place so you can filter through your client and pre-frame them before they see you. And also the respect goes both ways for your client and also for the client to also the person providing the service. Where can you find me? The Black Business School as a coach and at aishaverzi.com.
Awesome. I love it. What about you, Noma?
Yeah, I think one of the things that we also have to consider when you're running a business is that when your business first starts, it's really about you. So get that mentorship, join that mastermind, get that coaching, do the personal development. Some of the stuff of flying off the hook and all of that stuff is because we haven't properly developed and, invested in ourselves. So that's one key thing is you should always be investing in yourself, in your own personal and professional development. You should be having people who are coaching you and mentoring you so that you become better at whatever product or service that you're offering. Where you can find me, I am on Facebook as Nomalanga Habroni. I'm on Instagram as Ms. Nomalanga, and you can also find me on YouTube where I have my own YouTube channel as Nomalanga. I'm Shalaye Moses. Last thing is please support our charity. It's padsforourgirls.com, padsforourgirls.com. The smallest amount really helps. It goes towards supporting young girls who are in school here in Botswana. I am the founder of that charity, and what we do is we support young girls who really cannot afford sanitary pads, and sometimes they miss school because they cannot afford them. So the smallest amount helps. And one more thing is I want to say thank you because the Fly Nubian Money audience really supports our charity. I always see a trickle every time we come off the show because somebody heard me say, please support us, and they do support us. So that's wonderful.
Oh, I love that. That's so cool. All right. So my final thought on what lessons can entrepreneurs learn from this situation is going to be have a community, right? The systems are important too. The systems are important. So what Noma said, what Aisha said, all of those things are important. A lot of times we're going through business by ourselves, and having a business and starting a business, it can be stressful. There are a lot of unknowns. 1 month you make money, the next month you don't. 1 month clients act right, the next month they don't. There's just so many things that go into having a business that you should have people around you that can speak life into you, that you can talk to. If a client doesn't pay, you can let them go and call somebody like, Noma, this is what just happened to me. What do you think I should do? How should I have handled that? Was there something better that I could have done? Have you had this situation? Is there a process that I need? Like a lot of times we don't have other people to go to talk about how we're operating our business to even know, well, what system should I have in place to do that, right? And so I think that is what we can learn from this situation. Have a community of people who know and understand business so that when you run into situations or you have to do SOPs or you have to set boundaries or you have to put policies in place, if you don't even know what those policies are, then you won't even know how to write them or how to create them or how to set them and be disciplined them. Now, if you need that kind of help, you should join us in Miami next month for the Black Power Conference. We will be in Miami Saturday, April 25th and Saturday, April 26th for the Black Power 5th anniversary conference and cruise celebration. Now, Dr. Boyce is coming in to be our special guest for our women's conversation. He's gonna be out here giving out knowledge to the ladies. Men are welcome. Let me say that men are welcome in this room. But it is my time and space where I get to empower, coach, teach, strategize with Black women entrepreneurs. And this year is special because we're doing a war room, a CEO workroom, and we're about to get to the money. We want to make sure that wealth does not miss us in 2030. So if you need help in your business, you want to be in this room. It's a small room. It's an intimate room, 75 women, classroom style, laptops up, me, Constance, Tiara, Athena, walking the floor, helping you to build your 5-year plan for your business. So if you are interested, go to blackpower.com. Use the code. I think your code is Fly Nubian Money, FNM100, FNM100. If you want a basic ticket, not a basic ticket, a general ticket. And then use FNM150 if you want VIP, and it'll save $150 there and save $100 there. So FNM100 or FNM150. And I hope to see you guys in Miami next month. As we go out, entrepreneurship is about more than talent or skill. It's about professionalism, communication, and protecting your reputation. Sometimes the smallest financial conflicts can become the biggest business lessons The lesson for entrepreneurs is simple. How do you protect your business while still protecting your brand? Oh, look at the flyer. It's so fresh. I love the flyer. Look at us looking fly. Oh. We're going to have a good time, yo. Make sure you guys, if you can get to Miami, it's going to be fun. If you think we're fun online, you got to see us in person. We act a plumb full. So anywho, yes, it's going to be a great time. And then we're getting on a cruise. We're getting on a cruise, about to be on the ocean. Black Girls Gone Wild, 2026 edition. And so anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in on today. As always, we appreciate you. Thank you to Aisha. Thank you to Nomalanga. Thank you to Tierra. Thank you to you guys in the audience for tuning in every single day. We really appreciate you and we love you. We couldn't do this without you. Happy birthday, Nomalanga. Woo, 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 woo. Happy birthday
to
Yeah.
you.
You should have been here saying happy birthday. Now the singer don't be here.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, ladies.
Absolutely. As always, everybody go out and have a wonderful day. Continue to stay blessed, be black, and be one. We will see you tomorrow.
Bye.